What's up, everybody? Welcome to Offsides Podcast. Pete, what's going on, brother?
What's up, man?
Hey, week three's in the books. It's going by fast, bro. It's going by fast. Like I feel
It
like
always does.
I feel like we turn around and it's already October. You're like, what happened in 4 weeks and shit?
It always
Uh,
does.
uh, how you call that, man? I had a good. I like it. I actually was able. So it's crazy. I still haven't watched a full, complete 1 o'clock game yet because the first Sunday I was flying back. Second Sunday was the day after my birthday. My daughter took me to the distillery. This Sunday, I'm making bacon, egg, and cheese sandwiches downstairs. We came back from church, so I'm getting ready to come upstairs, watch the games, man. And one of my business partners says, "Hey, had a death in the family. Can you cover down?" And of course, I'm not gonna be like, "Nah, man, I'm watching football." So I was like, "Look, I got you. We're gonna do it." So I spent like the first half of the game. Uh, Doing the business call, and then I hopped on and saw the rest of the games. But like any other week, bro. So week four, week three in the books, week four is coming up. What's your takeaways? Like what surprised you? What's your take on week three? What you saw?
Philly bounced back from from a tough loss on Monday night, which they basically gave that game away on Monday night. They bounced back. I was impressed with the way they bounced back because New Orleans was rolling. They put up what 90 points in 2 games,
Hmm?
and they pretty much shut them down, you know.
Yeah,
I think they won despite their coach.
yeah.
With him trying to give it back, basically practically trying to give the game to the Saints. But that was to me was the biggest takeaway was Philly bouncing back and Buffalo looks really good, man. Buffalo looks amazing, but it's only week three. See what happens when they play the better teams. But I'm interested to see how they're gonna look against the Jets. So that those are pretty much my takeaways off the top of my head.
For me, man, week three, yeah, Buffalo looks good. He threw passes to 10 different receivers, had 4 touchdowns in the first half. I mean, I think Diggs not being there is allowing him to be a better quarterback because he doesn't have to worry about feeding one person.
Yep.
Which we talked about that when we discussed Diggs not being there. That was that discussion in one of our podcasts and topics that we discussed. Philly finding a way to win, I think is good. I think is needed. There's no knock on the Saints. I think the Saints are going to be okay. They probably just matched up better. Sometimes we get too big and we forget to prepare for teams. You know what I'm saying? Which for me, that's something like that thing that happened to the Bengals last night. Uh, you got Jaden Daniels, a rookie coming in, and none on Burrow. Burrow played great, 3 touchdowns, no turnovers. But the defense couldn't stop nobody. And I think that sometimes these players they go in there and they sleep on people thinking, oh, we too good. And if you notice, the Bengals been doing a lot of talking and you're not winning. So I think it's time to shut up and just play the game and win before you start talking. The Chiefs, man, the Chiefs, how can I put it, man? Good team. They're not, I don't think they're playing at their best. But what I hate about the Chiefs, like going to the game with the Bengals the week before, even this game with the Falcons, a blatant PI in the end zone. The guy was giving Drake London a bear hug, and they didn't throw the flag. He wasn't even looking back to the ball, and that could have put him at first and goal. It could have changed the game differently. And I know that we shouldn't let the game come down to uh, a call, but sometimes them calls got to go your way. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you need some of them calls to go your way. Your team won, bro. Y'all went up there and spanked the Browns. You know what I'm saying? Daniel Jones said, "I'm Danny Dimes," and Malik Neighbors. Like they remember they had a first round pick wide receiver there that they could use. But yeah, Buffalo looks good. I think they got a test coming up. I think they got the Ravens this week.
They do have the Ravens this week in Baltimore.
Yep, they do. So I think they got a test this week. I think in order to say that without a doubt that they're real, I think they have to go in there and win this game. And man, I say manhandle because they've been manhandling everybody. But um, And yet Ravens pulled out a win against the Cowboys. Cowboys look like, man, they ain't been nowhere, huh? Like what's going on?
Looks like they have zero interest.
Mhm.
Zero interest, zero fire, just nothing. Like they no energy, no spark. And then, you know what? As a fan to watch that, it's like, look, I'm spending my money on gear, on tickets, and if you're far from the state, if you're far from the stadium, you're using your money to go
Mhm.
and travel to see them. That sucks because it's like, you know what? And that's why I think and fans can boo. I have no issue with fans booing if they're paying their money and they see an effort like that. It looks like Dallas had no interest in playing once they saw it was gonna be. And look at the week before was against the Saints and then against Baltimore.
So I don't know if you saw this tape, but the press conference after the game, Antonio Pierce was asked if he felt like some of his players, how the team played in that game that lost. And he said that he felt that some players made business decisions and will make business decisions moving forward as well. Um, what's your take on that, bro? Like, how do you feel about that comment?
Well, I remember hearing the business decision
So I guess
comment.
the
Well,
lack of performance, like the players put, I'm not gonna go out here and give it my all. We're losing anyway, so it is what it is. So I'm not gonna perform. So they made a business decision, basically taking care of themselves.
no. That's what I was
Yeah.
gonna say was the first time I heard that phrase was Deion Sanders because I don't know if you know the thing on him was he never used to tackle, and it's because he
Mm.
was like, yo, that's a business decision. He ain't going to, he's not trying to go tackle Christian Okoye and get fucking ran over and he's out. That's not his game. So that was his business decision. So I understood what Antonio Pierce was talking about. Cats wasn't giving their all. So, and then him saying that, hey, if that's how he has to run his team, everybody's gonna have a different approach. And I guess that's his approach to try to get through the guys. A lot of guys fought for him to get that job. And if they're gonna play like that against a team, look, they beat the Ravens at home, but then you come home and then you lose to the Panthers, and it didn't seem competitive. So I get what he's saying, his frustration, and I'm just probably just trying to motivate these guys.
I love it. I love it. And we've talked about this on this when we talk about contracts for players. Um, who's gonna put the foot down and not bow down? You know what I'm saying? We pay these players, well, they pay these players, and then for them to make that it's a team effort. You're out there going to war with someone. You know what I'm saying? It's like, how can like, I can't go out here and play right if I can't trust that you're gonna make that tackle when you got to make it, or that you're gonna dive for the ball when you could have probably caught it and it could have got us the first down or even a touchdown. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I didn't watch the game. I don't know exactly what took place, but for him to say that and ask in front of the media, I think that it speaks volumes of what he saw in his players, and I think that moving forward is going to affect because this is a business, and at the end of the day, that his job is predicated and it's only good as long as the team is doing good. You know what I'm saying? So if you're going to sacrifice not playing right because you don't want to make the wrong business decision, and that could potentially, make me lose my job, and how the hell I'm gonna feed my family now, then that's something we got to talk about. The Bills beat up on the
Jaguars.
on the Jaguars, right? Trevor Lawrence looks, you know, I would say
Yep.
looks buns. He looks trash. Uh,
Cheeks.
yeah. 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, when they finally got Doug Peterson, I thought, okay, it's gonna get better. I said he didn't have the right coaching, let's make the right plays, let's make the right calls, get him in there, get Doug Peterson won a Super Bowl with Nick Foles. He can make it happen. And yeah, that first year they did okay, I think. Then the second year, then this year, so far it looks horrible with what they're 0-3. They're down there with the Titans. What's your take on it, man? Like, how do you feel about it? You think this season is done?
Oh, their season is done. I mean, it's 0-3, and then you got 2-1 in the division, which is the Texans. I guess what helps them is the fact there's another 0-3 team, the Titans. But as far as Trevor Lawrence, it sucks because this is the first pick overall. A lot of hype around him. They were waiting for this guy to declare for the draft because they felt he was the prototype, the prototypical quarterback, and then he hasn't delivered. And then, I don't know if you've seen the meme. They got his numbers next to Daniel Jones, and it's pretty even. They just gave him a boatload of money. But and what's crazy to me is that they have given him weapons. Like they've signed Christian Kirk. They just signed Gabe Davis. They drafted a receiver in the first round this year, one of the better receivers this year. They're
Mm-hmm.
coming out. They came out in the draft. They had Ridley last year. They got Evan Ingram. Etienne played with him in college. He has a good running back. I can't say he don't have weapons because that's a lot of the excuses for a lot of other quarterbacks is, he don't got nobody to throw to, or they haven't put a good team around him. That's not the case with him.
No, it's not.
So I don't know what it is, but
It was another thing I took us. So I got them right here. I'm gonna share. I'm gonna share the screen with these pictures up
he's
here.
gonna get, they just signed him, so he's not going anywhere. They just signed him.
Yeah, and a lot of people feel like that was a bad sign. You know what I'm saying?
But if you don't sign your quarterback, right? Okay, and I get it. He's not Josh Allen or Mahomes or Lamar Jackson, but at least they got something better than what the. You think the Raiders would take Trevor Lawrence over
Yeah.
Gardner Minshew?
Yeah.
You think they would take the Titans would take him over Will Levis, who keeps, he's having like 2 turnovers a game. Yeah, so I mean,
The
it's
Titans should never got rid of Malik Willis.
the
They should.
Titans should have never got rid of AJ Brown, but that's
Yeah,
another
yeah,
that's a
that's
different
another
story.
story and a half.
Yeah.
So here's both picks side by side. One is the meme, the number 64 completion for Daniel Jones, 63 for Trevor. Daniel Jones has 2,502 passing yards. Trevor has 2,942. Daniel has 330 rushing yards. Trevor has 254. 85 career passing rating for Daniel Jones, 84 for Trevor, 51% career QBR, 50 for Trevor, 66 touchdowns for Daniel, 60 for Trevor, 42 interceptions, and 40 for Trevor. That's not including the fumbles. But then if you look at the other picture from the facility today, they put up, and the last 4 seasons, he's got 61 giveaways. That's the most. Interceptions are 43rd most. Fumbles are 34, second most. And then fumbles lost are 21. That's the most for him. So these numbers were here when they paid him. You know what I'm saying?
It's look, they pay the way I see it is they're paying for stability at quarterback. Like, look, at least we got our quarterback. Now we can do what, fill in the other holes that we have on the team. But I don't think that's an issue because they have decent offensive pieces, like what I just said. The receivers they got Evan Ingram, Etienne, but maybe it's the line. I don't know how their line grades out, but there's jury's out on him. But again, like I said, he's not going anywhere because he just signed a big contract.
You know, so I think it's him. I think it's him. I was talking to Nikki today from Play Call, and she's a Jags fan, and she didn't like she took a whole day off from her second job to watch the game. And we was talking about it, and she was like, "Well, we don't have like now." What she said is that the people or the weapons or whatever or the players. I see. I have better players than Buffalo. Your wide receiving core is a lot better than Buffalo's wide receiving core.
Absolutely.
I said, so you can't say that. Christian Kirk was there, Evan Ingram is there, Etienne's there. Like y'all have weapons. Gabe Davis. And she kind of backpedaled a little bit. It was like, no, I'm not saying that we don't have any weapons. It's just, no, say what it is. You don't have the right quarterback.
The last 3 years, they signed Christian Kirk,
Mm-hmm.
signed Ridley, and then this year they signed Gabe Davis, and then they drafted Thomas out of LSU. And then I think it was last year, the year before, they got Ingram. So that's not and Etienne, they drafted him. I think they
Yeah.
drafted him. It could have been the same draft as Trevor Lawrence. I'm not
Nah,
sure
I think he
off the
came in
top of my
after.
head,
ETN, I think, came in afterwards. Let me see. I'll tell you right now. I think
but
he came in.
it's not the it definitely is not the now they both have 4 years in the league. It's definitely not they don't have the weapons because they've definitely given him receiving options. So
So,
no.
so ETN been playing since 22. Yeah, his first year was 22, 23, and now 24. That's so he came in the league in 2022. I don't think it's that, man. Honestly, I think they're in trouble. I think that the Texans had a game against the Vikings. They didn't play too well, but I mean, the Vikings are catching a lot of people by surprise. You know, with I mean, you got Sam Darnold actually playing like a good quarterback over there, and that defense is
Coaching.
playing. Yeah, it's coaching. You know, I'm glad you say that because the coaching is what matters, and I want to bring the Falcons and and uh and Chiefs game. I felt the coaching failed on that one too. You could have took 3 points, you didn't.
Yep.
You could have made better decisions. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
In the coaching, and I think so. When we look at the Chiefs, and I've said this before, the Chiefs have a way. They're playing chess, bro. They're playing chess. They're not playing great. If you ask me who's a more powerful team, I'm probably gonna go Bills over them right now because of how Josh Allen's doing it with what he got. But they're winning. The Chiefs are winning. It's not great. Mahomes got 4 interceptions already, I think, on a season or more. Um, he's not playing great, but I think what it is psychologically, when the players are doing what they had to do, I think the coaching fails on the other side. Don't go for the three. Don't make the right call. You know, you get in your head. You try to go for the 2 point when maybe you don't need to. There was so much there that I feel failed the Falcons. Kind of like um in other games that we've seen them play, where it's like the coaching goes they go away from it. Like the Ravens in the AFC Championship, you don't run the ball.
Yep.
Why did you stop running the ball? They were like damn near last in the run defense, and you stop running the ball. So I think so. Like when they played the Falcons, that's what I felt happened. I felt like Raheem Morris was out coached, man. Like he just I don't know. I don't know what he was thinking. I don't know what happened, but uh even the last play of the game that they went for it and they didn't convert it. Like there was other things you could have did than do what you did. So
Well, two things on that. The that play and I don't to me the refs have always been shit. In any sport, always complaining about the refs and the refs got a free pass. They can't get criticized. It's the situ the this it's not a good I don't think it's a good practice that they can have pretty much free reign and just they're bad at their jobs, but they don't have to own up to it, it seems like. Because that play very similar to, and I know this play because I'm a Giants fan, but last year, Buffalo and the Giants, Sunday Night Football, Darren Waller, the same exact thing. The guy wasn't looking, didn't have his back to the wasn't looking for the ball. Kind of, I just had him, just kind of wrapped him up. No call. End of the game. Same thing. Um, and one more thing, they were in the same draft. Etienne didn't play that first year because he hurt himself. So they were in the same. I remember they had 2 picks, and it was that same draft, the 2021 draft.
that's right. He was hurt,
So
and
they played in
yeah,
college together, and they got drafted together. So there's no excuses for Trevor Lawrence, man. I honestly that he needs to get it together because if not, that's not if he doesn't, this guy's gonna be gone soon. Peterson's gone if he
yeah.
don't get it together.
Um, I think they got to figure it out. The owner said that this is the best team they've ever put together. So Khan is saying this. What that's telling me, um, you're gone, Doug Peterson. Because if in his mind This is the best team my GM put together the whole time I've owned this team. I just paid this quarterback. Then Dougie P, if you don't win this season, you're gone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what that's telling me. So to pivot a little bit on that, man, 0-3 teams. I'm gonna read them. I want you to tell me who you think can still turn around. So we got the Bengals at 0-3, Jaguars, Tennessee Titans. And that's it. That is it. So out of those three, which team do you see or you think can still turn around and have a maybe make the playoffs?
I don't think. Well, the best team to me out of those 0-3 teams obviously is the Bengals. They have the better quarterback, but at home, after they played the Chiefs, tough on the road, they laid an egg last night. They let a team with a rookie quarterback that the week before didn't even score a touchdown. They let them run up and down the field. Like this guy looked like he was in the league for 4 years already. Jake
91%
Daniels.
completion percentage.
It's that's not good. And you got Jamar Chase talking about, oh yeah, we've been the best team. No, you're not. You're not. If you already lost two games at home to two teams who weren't projected to be very good, which is the Patriots and the Commanders.
Yeah.
Okay, you played the Chiefs tough, and everybody's gonna bring up, oh yeah, the pass interference at the end of the game. It happens every game, every week. It happens. The refs suck, and they're always gonna affect the game. And the one I just brought up was the Giant and Buffalo game last year. It doesn't get the attention because it wasn't Kansas City.
Mm-hmm.
Now does Kansas City get those calls? Yeah, but they're always in the position where a call is gonna go in their favor. So are they the best of the 0-3 teams? Yeah, but I don't think that's saying much because of what they did yesterday. And I don't see any of these teams making the playoffs.
Really?
The AFC is tough. AFC is tough.
So I think out of the North, somebody's got to win it. Pittsburgh's 3-0 right now. I think that's a false 3-0. We about to get to that next. Um, I don't. I think the Browns are not going to turn around. I think they're heading into a turmoil that's not that. It's crazy. The Ravens, I expect them to shift it. Um, this game upcoming with the Ravens and the Bills is going to be big for both teams. Really more for the Ravens. I think the Bills can take a L and still be good, but the Ravens can't afford to go 1-3. You know what I'm saying? Um, but we'll talk about that towards the end when we start talking about next week's games. Um, I think the Bengals can turn it around, man. I'm still a believer in Joe. That defense yesterday did not look good at all. And that's what gave it away. I mean, both teams didn't punt. Both teams didn't have a turnover. First time since 1940 that's happened. Um, it just came down to which defense was going to make the stop. You know what I'm saying? Which defense was going to cause the turnover, which defense was going to show up when they had to. I feel like the offense did what they had to do. 3 touchdowns, over 300 something yards thrown. Um, but when it came down to it, the defense couldn't get the stop, and once they went up, you're playing from behind, your game changes completely. But I think I agree. They're the best out of all three 0-3 teams. I think they're the better ones. Um, it's going to be tight. Now, if Baltimore would have been 2-1 and the Browns maybe a little better, then I would have said, hey, yeah, they're not going to make it. But like I said, what we're going to get to that next. So shifting that, we have the Bills 3-0, Steelers 3-0, Chiefs 3-0, Vikings 3-0, and Seahawks are 3-0. So out of those, who is a contender? Who's a pretender?
The contender obviously is Kansas City, um, Buffalo. I would even say the Vikings. The Vikings have looked pretty good, pretty convincing in their wins. They beat San Francisco. San Francisco just was missing McCaffrey at the time, so I don't want to. You can't say it's injuries. And they played them tough last year too, so not. I wasn't too surprised at that. They just lost a lot of people in that game. They got a lot of people hurt in that game. Um, the pretender, and not to say a pretender like, they stink or anything like that, but just the wins have been less impressive with the Steelers. It's been Denver, it's been the Chargers who don't really Herbert was injured. So I would say Pittsburgh if I had to pick one of them as a pretender, but 3-0 is 3-0. Your record is what your record says you are, and they're 3-0. They're first in the division. It's not their fault that Baltimore, the first game, this guy's, this guy's foot was too big and it was out the end zone. And it's not their fault that Baltimore lost at home to the Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
They're handling their business. So as far as do I think that would I put money that they're gonna come and win, be in the AFC Championship game? No. But they're 3-0. 3-0 is 3-0, man.
Yeah, I think obviously Chiefs are even though they're not playing their best football, but they're finding ways to win and maintain it. Bills look good right now. I think this week is gonna be a big test for them against the Ravens in Baltimore. I think it is,
Yep.
and the Vikings. I'll take them. I'll take them. I was a big critic of Sam Darnold while he was on the Jets. When you go to a shitty team, it's just gonna be what it is. Not everybody's Joe Burrow that can go to a shitty team and within a year you're in a Super Bowl fighting for it. Um, how much stuff has to go right for that to happen. It's just bananas. So you finally get Darnold, who they say is a good athlete, strong arm, in a team that has pieces with the right coaching, a good defense, and look, it's paying off. So right now, like you said, the record is 3-0. I'm not sold on the Steelers. We've seen the Steelers go 10-1 or 11-0 before with Ben, and then when you get to the other half of the season, it's like they just shit the bed because the truth comes out. Like you said, Denver, the Chargers with Herbert, and kind of Chargers still trying to figure out who they are. No Keenan Allen, no Mike Williams. There's certain things that they're figuring out. And who else the Steelers beat? They beat Denver Chargers, and week one they beat oh man, I'm drawing a blank. The Falcons. They caught the Falcons game.
That's right.
Yeah, they caught the Falcons game one. Uh, again, we can. I don't think they're gonna. Like I tell Bree every time, you can be happy now, but come week 8, your gauntlet of teams you're gonna face are gonna be ridiculous, and I think that's where the true test is gonna come in. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'll say this though, the defense is really good. I think they got the best defensive player in the league on their team
Oh yeah, and
with
why?
TJ Watt. And look, if doesn't take much, if your defense can keep you in the game, look what happened. And we've heard any given Sunday all the time. Look, I would have put money that the Bucks was gonna roll these dudes this weekend, and they got their asses whooped. Denver took it to them, so you never know. Like everybody's looking at the end of their schedule, like, oh yeah, that's crazy for them. Who knows, man? Who knows? I don't
Well,
because
but here's a deal. Now that you bring that up, let's look at it. Right, I'm looking at it right now. You got Colts next week that could win. You got the Cowboys. The Cowboys are playing how they playing. That could be a win. Then you got the Raiders. So depending which Raiders you get, it could be a slugfest. You got the Jets in Pittsburgh. So if by that, and that's a nighttime game. So maybe the Jets can pull out. Then they got the Giants, Commanders, then Ravens. Look how the Ravens playing now. We don't know how they're gonna be playing at the Browns, Bengals, Browns, Eagles, Ravens, Chiefs, Bengals. So that week, that part, like you said, we don't know what's gonna be because right now we thought the AFC North was gonna be one of the best divisions to watch,
and it's not.
and it's
So
not. So you're right about that. You're right about that. That's a good way to look at it. I mean, I'm not sold on Justin Fields. That's really what it is. I'm not a big believer in him. Now, has he been getting better each week? Yeah. But again, look at the teams they're playing. So I feel like if you go up against a good defensive team, or what if your defense has a bad day?
that's the only way I would see it. Well, okay. they probably can't go back and forth with somebody in a shootout if their like you said, the defense has a bad day. But it's very solid defense. Look, everybody's gonna run the ball on Dallas. What do you think they're gonna do when they get it, when they
Oh
play
yeah.
them?
But I heard Najee's hurt. Um, um, he's got an injury. Warren has been doing good. They even talking about Cordell Patterson. Um,
Yeah, I don't see why not. He's been doing it forever. I don't see why not. Again, they've been making it happen. And
I
again,
think
other team we can say the Denver is not that good and the Chargers not that good, but that's a pro team on the other side of the field, regardless of what we say, and they beat them. So
in the words of June, they're professionals. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Uh, so you saw Daniel Jones play in person. You saw him in DC against your Giants. I think Jaden Daniels had a great game yesterday. Whether the defense or not, like you said, those are professionals as well.
he still has to make the throws. So yeah,
Yeah. I didn't know that he had 55 games under his belt in college. How I look at that is like a boxer that had over 100 amateur fights. Um, he's coming into the league with experience, more than Caleb, more than a lot of these other guys. Bo Nix is even showing flashes of goodness. Caleb is struggling over there in Chicago. Um, is Jaden Daniels or should Jaden Daniels have been the number one pick?
there were some people who said that he should have been.
I agree.
But it was more like there was the love affair with Caleb Williams since last year. You know, he won the Heisman. Even when because he transferred from Oklahoma to USC.
Yep.
So it was kind of like very similar to Trevor Lawrence. Everybody was kind of waiting for Trevor Lawrence to come out because he's going to be the first pick overall. And the same thing was kind of like with Caleb Williams. Like he was going to be the first pick overall no matter what. And there were, it was being said like, yo, they should probably keep Justin Fields and get Marvin Harrison, and then trade that first overall pick and get even, a bigger haul than they did the year before. But they kept Caleb Williams. But there were people who were saying that Daniels probably should have went first. But
I think the young man has potential. When you look at what he's doing, they don't have the best offense. They got McLaurin, they got Eckler, who had a concussion yesterday. He didn't even fly back with the team, so he might not even be playing this upcoming Sunday. Um, they have other pieces. Again, I look at what you're making with what you have, right? Um, it's easy for us to sit here and let's say if Caleb Williams is doing great in Chicago, we'll say, oh, he got Swift. He has Keenan Allen. He has DJ Moore, Dunze, Cole Kmet. He has a better offensive line. The defense is great. So when you start taking certain pieces and you put little pieces in what he's doing, I think it's amazing. And maybe he caught the Bengals with their pants down. It is what it is. It's early. It's September. Bengals suck in September. They don't have a good record in September. They beat the Giants on field goals. Okay, cool. They took an L against the Bears, though. First game of the season. It could have went either way, right? But as you and I both know that as the season goes on, experience, tape, you start watching, learning, making adjustments. I think what he's doing is amazing in that part. The fact that he doesn't really have a big weapons. He has a defensive coach as a head coach and Dan Quinn. But he's out there playing pretty good football. You know what I'm saying? So I'm excited to see how that's going to develop. Um, do you think they have a chance in the East though?
yeah, well, as you mean to win the division,
Not even. I think the Eagles going to win the division. That's just me. I'm gonna say Eagles win division, but I'm just saying maybe to be the second team to come out of there.
they could, being that the way Dallas is playing, the Giants to me are still the kind of mystery. I didn't expect them to beat um, Cleveland, but they didn't. They weren't terrible against Washington, and not to make excuses, but the kicker situation definitely played a part in them not winning that game. So I think Giants and Commanders to me are kind of even. Um, they're using Neighbors the way he should be used. Neighbors should have double-digit targets every game. Like he should be the first read on every play, and that's what you got him for. You know what I mean? Now, if he's double covered, then you move off of him.
Yeah.
Look at the catch he made against this guy where he lost him. You know, the guy is good. He should get the ball every freaking play. You don't got Barkley anymore to give him the ball like you probably wanted to. You got this guy. Give him targets. That's the only way you're gonna find out what you got in Daniel Jones and how good he is, and he's shown that he's good. But it all depends on Dallas. Let's see. Let's say they play each other and Dallas whoops the Commanders. Then this is not a conversation
Yeah.
that makes any sense for us to have because it's still kind of the same pecking order: Eagles, Cowboys, and then Commanders and Giants falling behind them.
Mhm.
But the question, my answer was, yeah, they could be good, but I being at the game last week, they're very similar. They're very even to me.
Yeah. I think that, I think they got a chance. I think they got a chance. I think especially if right trades could be made before the trade deadline. Um, Teams get hurt, people get injured. So there's a lot that goes into it. Um, you said the Giants, and I'm gonna say this. Okay, I don't expect Daniel Jones to be, uh Herbert, Burrow. You know what I'm saying? I give him the Geno Smith, not game manager, but he's good enough to win the games. Maybe not great to carry the team on his own, like Josh. But I feel, man, like honestly, if certain things was different, maybe it'd be a lot better. Maybe if you had a solid number two behind neighbors, you know what I'm saying? Or maybe even a better running game. Like it could be a lot different because we've seen him steal some games here and there, in his past, or Dable's a good head coach. So I think, and he's a brilliant offensive mind. So I think with the right stuff, man, it's not as bad as we think it is, or even as bad as I thought it was. Um, I think you guys are better than my team. And on the offensive side of the ball, you guys, I don't. My team can't do shit, man. Our offensive line is rookies. You saw Jacoby Brissett; he was on the floor the whole time.
Yeah.
And
But that was against the Jets. The Jets, it was their home opener. Aaron Rodgers' first game, that kind of went the way I expected it to go, that
yeah, that
game.
was bad, Pete. That was bad. Like I felt like I was playing my godson in Madden. That's exactly what it looked like. I had like 60 points. He had nothing. It's like it was so bad, bro. I was looking. I was like, man, we've had the Jets numbers for since my whole naval career. And then it's like we now retire, and I got to see this like this pain of failure, bro. Like
The Jets defense is good, man. The Jets
it
defense is
is.
really good,
I,
and it showed.
honestly, the Jets, as the season progresses, man, they can be a problem to some teams. And I'm not saying they're going to win the East. I'm just saying that they are. I think they could surprise some people. Um, there was one last thing I wanted to ask you, and it slipped my mind. It was a game. Okay, let's talk about the Cowboys real quick. Are they done?
Them not doing anything this offseason, I think, has showed. Um, you know, I don't know if you heard Jerry Jones said they couldn't afford Derrick Henry. I don't buy that because you look at these guys, look at the Eagles, they're signing all their guys. They got everybody signed on their offense. I believe you could have there's a way you could have made it happen. Maybe you chose not to. But the Dak contract doesn't look that great right now. And it's only going to get worse. They have a short week going against the Giants, who look. They didn't have a bad game against the Browns on the road. Giants don't play that great at home, but let's see what happens this week. It
Um,
could be really bad for them if they lose to the Giants this week.
if they lose to the Giants, yeah, they're up 6-3 without a paddle. But I don't. Something's wrong with the team, and it's not. There's no run game. Zeke is not doing anything. They ain't gonna get a running back. They could have afforded Henry. I think Henry would have took a discount to play in Dallas where he lived.
Probably no
Um,
state tax.
yep, he was waiting for the call and he didn't get it. Um, I'm not saying Henry would have fixed the problems because I don't think that would have fixed their problems, but it would have gave you something to be scared of at running back. It would have gave you something to have to prepare for. Like we always have these conversations when a defense is getting off the bus, what do they have to worry about? And a lot of teams that look, it's not like when we look at San Francisco, it'll be like, oh, we got to worry about Devo or CMC or this. It may not be Purdy all the time. When you look at the Cowboys, they're looking at CD. They're like, oh, we got to just cover CD. There's nothing at tight end that's going to scare us, and there's nothing at running back that's scaring us. But if you had a person like Henry, I got to prepare for that. I gotta be mindful that this guy can break off a run at any given time. But I also got to be worried about CD and you have oh boy Cook in the back there too, and running routes as well. So I got to worry about all that stuff. But really, CD and Derrick Henry would have took a lot of my time preparing for it. You know what I mean? You don't have that, so there's nothing to scare defense into preparing for a run game. All they got to worry about is doubling CD Lamb and make Dallas throw the ball. You know what I'm saying? So I agree with you. They didn't do much in the offseason. I think that hurt them. I think they could have went after another wide receiver, or they could have paid. Just like I said, bring Henry in, check him out, make him a deal, make him an offer, see what's up. He said he wouldn't mind playing there. He
He
wanted to
would
play
have played. He said
there.
he was waiting for them, but
Yeah, he got a house in Dallas. He lives there. It would have been perfect, but they didn't call, and that might be their demise in the long run. I don't think that I don't know. Like you said, the team looks out of it. CeeDee Lamb was frustrated, banging on the floor. He's sitting on the turf, on the sidelines, arguing. That's I don't care how much talent you got. If you're not vibing and it's that like that, you're not gonna win games. You know what I'm saying? Winning masks a lot of shit, but you can't win those games if you're not together as a team. You know what I mean? Um, so now moving forward, man, let's look at the weeks coming up. So we're gonna look at Thursday night game. Uh, Let me go to the scores of the upcoming games, bro. So week 4, we got Cowboys at Giants. Cowboys are favored by 6 points. The total is 44.5 over under. Uh what's your take, man, on that game? What do you give me both sides of the coin? What is it going to take for Giants to pull out the upset? And what is it going to take for the Cowboys to maintain and win? And I don't even think it's pull out an upset, to be honest, because I think they both 1-2 right now. So it doesn't matter,
yeah.
you know?
Um, this game says is going to say a lot about the rest of the season for each of them. Dallas beats the Giants. Okay, they've been doing this for the last couple of years. It's the same shit over and over again. But if the Giants beat Dallas, their season changes because they finally slayed one of these dragons. They're 500 and they're on the up and up because look, this is maybe a changing of the guard. The Giants, look, the Giants have been, the cliche has been, it's been easy to kind of beat up on the Giants the last couple years. And, everybody's, oh, they let Barkley go. You know what? They got a better offensive line. They got a running back. He's not sexy like Barkley, but he's getting the job done. I don't know if you saw the end of the game. He he broke off a run where he could have scored. He downed himself
Yeah.
right before scoring to cinch the game. So I think they have a better constructed team because as good as Barkley is, he's not putting up the numbers that he's putting up today if the offensive line is shit like it was last year. The offensive line is better this year. And again, they should be 2-1 if that kicker situation wasn't fucked up the way it was in week 2. this says a lot. This week says a lot about the Giants to me. And it also will say a lot about Dallas. If they lot, it says a lot more about Dallas if they lose, and a lot more about the Giants if they win.
I got to see Cowboys to prove the contenders. They got to dominate. It can't be in there barely winning because it says a lot if you go in there and barely beat the Giants. The Giants pull out an upset and win against a team, whether they're weakened a little bit or not playing. Still, the Dallas Cowboys is a divisional rival. A lot of people had them picked to even win the East.
Yep.
Come out, make a break year. I think, like you said, they slayed one dragon. Once you get a whiff of I can beat you,
Yep.
I'm gonna beat you, and I'm gonna go back to Week 16, Patriots and MetLife. You guys realize, oh, we can beat them. And when we saw each other in the Super Bowl, there was no fear no more. It was like, oh, we could beat them, and we're gonna beat them, and exactly what you did. So once you get that taste, it's not. Once I see you bleed like me, then you're normal like me, and I can take you out. So I think I got the Cowboys maybe pulling it out on maybe I can't even say that with confidence, to be honest with you, because I think if you guys go out there and run that ball, as long as Daniel Jones don't fuck it up, you know what I'm saying, and doesn't have turnovers, I think you guys have a bigger chance, and I think that 6 points is disrespectful.
He hasn't turned it over since week one, which was against the Vikings, and everybody turns it over against the Vikings. CJ Stroud had two against the
Oh,
Vikings, and he's like the golden boy, the golden child.
but we didn't even talk about that. Listen, we didn't even talk about the Texans. I was mad as hell. I got him on fantasy. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, why? Why? But
But
the Vikings are riding the wave right now. So we'll see. So yeah, we'll see what's up. So tell the tape. So 1 o'clock games. So who you got? You got Giants or Cowboys?
I'm gonna. You mean as far as just win outright?
Yeah. Who you picking? And I know you're not a homer, so that's why I'm only asking you that question.
I'm gonna take the Giants.
Okay. With the upset
Yep.
by a field goal or like a touchdown?
It'll be a. I don't think it's gonna. It'll be a close game if they pull it out.
Okay. Uh, I'm on the fence. My gut's telling Giants.
It's all right. You can say what you want. It's not gonna affect me.
No, 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 no. I'm gonna tell you why. I just don't. What I see in the Cowboys is some turmoil that's not gonna get fixed by it. It can affect the team. You have Micah Parsons talking crap, calling the team out, not only in on the in the press conference, basically saying that people are not playing together. They don't have the same energy. What's wrong with Dallas right now is not a talent thing. It's a confidence team thing. And when you're not working as a team, you can lose to a Pee Wee League team. You know what I'm saying? If you're not playing right. So um but I'm gonna probably go, like, you know what? I'm gonna go Giants by a field goal, man. I'm gonna give you guys the field goal. Something in my heart's telling Giants. I want to say Cowboys, but even as much as I try to psych myself up, I'm going Giants at home with the upset. Just 8 o'clock game, Thursday night, uh, in Jersey. Let's see. So at 1 o'clock, Falcons at Saints, Rams at Bears, Vikings at Packers. I think Eagles at Bucks might be a good game. I don't know. Um,
Oh yeah.
I think that's important for both teams.
It depends though. I think that Eagles Bucks game I think depends on. Look, they lost a lot of guys. Guys got hurt for Philly. AJ Brown hasn't played. I don't know if he's playing. Devontae Smith probably doesn't play because he got that concussion that he caught. That was pretty bad.
Yeah.
Um, Slay, I think, got hurt. I don't know if he's playing on the defensive side. So I don't know that one. That one to me, I don't know about. I don't want to pick it, but I don't know how Philly's gonna look because I think we see how different Jalen Hurts looks without AJ Brown. Now, if he doesn't have AJ Brown and Smith, that's a whole nother story.
So Eagles are favored by 2.5.
That's not too much to me. I mean, that sounds about right. That sounds about right.
So, and then you got Jags at Texans. That's a divisional game.
Jags at Texans.
Yeah. And the Texans are favored by 7 points.
Well, they can't. They got their asses whipped,
Yeah.
and they're gonna go back home on a division against a division rival.
But you know what's crazy is here's the deal, right? So you got the Jags that gotta win. Jags have to win this game. Texans gotta bounce back. But who needs it more though? And this is a divisional game. So now it sucks because one can't afford to lose to the other. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
Because it's a divisional game. Now you got a team coming off a loss and a bad loss, and you got another team that's 0-3, well now 0-3, coming off a loss as well, where they got manhandled by by Josh Allen. He was like, "Who's your daddy?" You know what I'm saying? Pause. So, like, I don't know, man, but I'm gonna go with Texans on that one.
I think it's easy. It's Texans.
Yeah.
And it could be easy to say, yeah, Jacksonville needs to win more, but for me, the Texans need it more because this everybody's picking them to win the division. This is the time. Okay, this is the team you should beat. Look what happened to them on Monday night. Don't let them come into your house and steal a win.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta take care of business, and you gotta roll these guys the same way Buffalo did. If this is your division, then this is a statement.
Yeah.
That's how I see it
I
for
know.
them.
I agree. I agree. 425 game Chiefs at Chargers. Another divisional round game. I think Chiefs are gonna beat them. I don't think they're favored by 8.5 points, but
Damn.
over under is 39.5.
Well, um, the Chargers, Herbert may not play. I think one of their tackles may not play. The Chargers. Chargers are beat up. It's against the Chiefs. The Chiefs, of course, will find a way to win against these guys. Especially them not being 100%.
So Bills Sunday night game, Bills at Ravens. Ravens are favored by 2.5 points at home. Over under is 46.5 points. Um, I think this is gonna be a real test for the Bills. Um, I don't if the Bills win, I don't see it being a blowout like they did.
No, not at all. I don't think so either.
I think it's
It's a
gonna
good game. I think it's more like opening night with KC. It's gonna
yeah.
be one of those, coming down to the last play, last drive.
Who you got in this game?
Don't know. I don't know. I'll say this. But I know these guys look good. These guys just beat Dallas. They look good. Almost gave the game, let them back into the game though. Um, I'm gonna go Buffalo on this one. 4-0.
I think Buffalo's gonna go in there and handle business. I was looking at the Ravens, like you said, they let Dallas come back. You can't give Allen a chance to come back because he'll come back. Um, if the matchup is right, I do believe that the receiving core for the Bills will be better than the one for the Ravens, only because I think Josh Allen's a better thrower of the ball
Definitely.
than Lamar. We've seen Lamar have to kind of win the game throwing, and it's not always a good outcome for him. You know what I'm saying? So I think that if the Bills can go in there and Josh can minimize not even having a turnover, like no fumbles, no interceptions, plays a clean game, it's gonna be hard for Ravens to keep up. Yeah, they have the better running back, I will say, and Henry, but James Cook's been cooking.
Yeah, James Cook is no slouch. He's
Yeah.
good.
So it kind of Henry's riding the coattail of his career, where James Cook is coming up and doing his thing. So I go Bills on that one. And Monday night we got two more games, bro, and I like the two games on
I
Monday.
do not.
You don't? Why?
I do not.
Oh man.
I mean, you know what? You gotta set it up. You gotta have two different, you gotta have two screens. I get it. But I don't think it makes any sense to put them on at the same time. Do a West Coast game and an East Coast game. That's how if you want to do two on Monday night, then fine. But why are you putting two on at the same time? If that's the case, then have a Monday edition of the Red Zone. But
Mm.
if you got to go back and forth, or you have two TVs where
So
the sound is kind of,
yeah, I got Alexa 15 here. So I got one on one side and I got my TV up here. So
yeah, I don't like it.
I got both. And with YouTube TV, you can actually watch both at the same time.
Got you, yeah.
Yeah, so I got that as well. So you got Titans at Dolphins. I'm that's a toss up for me, man. Miami's favored by 1 point. I think that Miami could probably pull out the win if the defense shows up and they still got Waddle, they still got some weapons, and then you got Seahawks at Lions. I'm going Lions. They're favored by 3.5 points at home. I think that this is perfect for the Lions to get a win and Seahawks get their first loss.
Was
So
it Titans at Dolphins?
yeah, Titans at Dolphins and then Seahawks at Lions.
I go Titans and Lions.
That's a good look. I mean, it's possible. If you're going to beat the Dolphins, this is the time right now.
Yep.
And I feel like the Dolphins messed up. They haven't went out and got a quarterback. They should. The minute Tua got concussed, I would have been on the phone calling anybody, anybody. I
Yeah.
would have been trading for Mac Jones. I would have been doing something. I would have been.
But I don't think it's that easy to just say, yeah, let's trade for a quarterback. There's a whole playbook they got to learn. It's not like they can come in. It's not like baseball. Oh shit, they traded for a center fielder and they put him right in the lineup.
Yeah.
It's not the same. And same thing with basketball as well. And basketball, there's some chemistry you have to get on the same page as far as basketball as well. But and you hear it all the time. Oh yeah, they should just trade for XYZ. They gotta. You see some of these playbooks that these guys got, and they gotta learn that. You're telling me they gotta learn that in a week? It's not. It's not. I don't think it's as simple as that to trade for a quarterback. Backup quarterback is one of the most important positions on the team. As you can see, look what happened to the Jets last year. If your backup can come in, like look when Dak got hurt a couple years ago, they had Cooper Rush. He went 4-1. Like that shit is a blessing to have.
Yeah. Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you don't got that, if your backup can't run the offense, that sucks and that hurts your team. And we've seen examples of it really derailing somebody's season, and that's what's happening to the Dolphins.
No, you're right. You're right. I mean, we went 3-1 when Brady was suspended, and Garoppolo started. Then we had Brissett, and
But
then
yeah, yep.
so it makes a difference when you have that. My thing is, you're right. It takes a while to learn the playbook. But that's what the OC gets paid to do is dumb down some plays. Let's not give you all the hard shit. We've seen other people come in. Look at Joe Flacco off the couch last year. Winning.
That's a good example, and I'll give you another good example. Baker Mayfield when he went to the Rams,
Yeah,
he
that first.
signed that week, and then they won that week. But you got to have somebody who
Yeah,
one, your coaching got to be good. So we brought up Baker, so he was with McVay, who's freaking genius, and Stefanski was the quarterback, was the offensive coordinator for the Vikings,
yeah.
and Joe Flacco went to him. So I'm not really surprised at any of them. Could Mike McDaniel make it work? Yeah, I think he can. But I just don't think it's as simple as people make it seem like, yo, they should just trade for this guy or trade for this guy.
No, I don't think you're right. It's not as simple, and when it comes to learning, but I'd rather take a hit in 1 or 2 games at the beginning than take a hit in 1 or 2 games and still got to go find a quarterback. And now I'm taking another hit for 2 or 3 more games. You know what I'm saying? So I think they should have went after somebody. I'm pretty sure he has somebody that he's been looking at because the Tua thing is not a secret. They had to have had a contingency plan. You can't. If it was me and I'm the GM, no, I'm telling Mike, look, we need to have somebody in the back, like you said, bring in a good backup that we can play because this guy right here, one more concussions, he's out, and look, he's out now.
If they had a contingency, it wouldn't have been who they got, which is Skylar Thompson, and then he got hurt, so he didn't even finish the game. They should have. That's something that should have. If they felt that way about Tua, that's something that should have been taken care of at the beginning of the year in the offseason. They should have signed a backup who they felt was legit. Flacco's on the Colts now, so they're not too concerned. They're like, yo, if this guy, if this guy shits the bed again, we'll put Flacco in. Look what he did last year.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
and Flacco's a pro, bro. He's a pro.
And he's out there having a good time, talking about how you
Yep.
for 75 yards off a bad foot. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
He's good. He's chilling. He got a Super Bowl. He doesn't, he got paid already. He's good. All right, man. Well, that's pretty much it for this week, brother. There was a lot of good and a lot of bad. Yo, Mahomes got 5 touchdowns and 4 interceptions on the season. How you laughing? I just seen it. I see he's at 659 yards passing, and he's 5 touchdowns and 4 interceptions on the season, bro. That's crazy.
And Kelsey got don't even have double digit catches.
Yeah, Kelsey. Yeah, I think so. Before we sign off, we was watching the game. I said that I think Mahomes is learning. I think what Mahomes is doing is phasing out Kelsey without phasing out Kelsey. And what I mean by that is he wants Kelsey to be there, and to a certain extent, he knows he needs Kelsey, but I don't think he needs Kelsey right now. So why put Kelsey in positions where he can get hurt, and now I could lose him for the season when I need him for the playoffs. So keep him as a decoy. He's not really a blocking tight end like that. He's not a traditional tight end. He's a receiving tight end. I use him as a decoy, and yo, Rashid Rice is eating right now. He's eating. Worthy's starting to get hot. Um, they're gonna be fine, bro. They're gonna be fine. It's hard. You just gotta look. As much shit I talk about the Chiefs, Mahomes is a great quarterback. He's the best quarterback playing the game right now. Uh, and Andy Reid's the best coach doing it. And they're finding ways to win, man. You know what I'm saying? When you have that chemistry and you have that consistency at quarterback, they could put me, you, Puba, and Jumbo out there, and they're gonna win a game, bro. They're gonna win. They're gonna win. I'm being honest. They're gonna win. It's just I seen it with the Patriots. Who the fuck was James White? Where did he come from? Rex Burkhead came over. Remember Danny Woodhead? You know what I'm saying? Like, would Julian Edelman have been Julian Edelman in another team? And I love Julian Edelman. I think he should go in the Hall of Fame. That's just me. But look at what they did with Amendola, Edelman, Hogan. You know what I'm saying? Once you have the chemistry at quarterback, once you got that position solidified, and they're actually generational talent. Let's just be honest, because they got to be talent, bro. You can put whatever out there, and it's gonna work, man. It's gonna work. It's gonna work. But with that being said, man, week 4 is coming up Thursday. We're gonna be seeing Giants and Cowboys. I'm gonna have my popcorn. I'll be watching it. I might text you. Uh, um, but you any last remarks, man, before we close out?
Nah, man.
All right,
That's
well,
it for
guys,
me.
listen, man, share, like, subscribe. Soon we'll have everybody back on again. We're managing what we managing, how we manage it. But we keeping the main thing, which is Offsides Podcast, bringing you content, bringing you news, bringing you the views and the things that we see when we watch the game. If you like something, let us know. If you don't like something, let us know. Turn on notifications, share, like, subscribe, follow us, and stay tuned to next week. Peace.